Welcome everybody to a brand new video. I've actually never hopped into shipment 24/7, so I'm gonna do that right now. I got my contact lenses in the mail, by the way. Every single time I switch back from glasses to contact lenses after a long period of time of wearing glasses, I always have to mention it in my videos. And also when I switch back from contact lenses to glasses because I ran out of lenses, I have to mention that as well. I don't know why I do that. But anyway, as you guys know, I don't really play this game all that much. When it comes to Call of Duty, I'm actually spending a lot of time on Black Ops 3 Zombies because I've really been enjoying some of the classic maps. Origins is probably my favorite map of all time when it comes to zombies. I'm not like the biggest zombies nerd in the world. I used to be way more into zombies when I was younger. I always enjoyed it on Black Ops, but my favorite zombie experiences were actually made on Black Ops 2. Maybe the reason for that was because I actually enjoyed the maps that a lot of people didn't like. For example, Die Rise is actually one of my favorite zombies maps of all time, and I know people hated that map because of the elevation and, you know, fall damage and all this stuff. Also, PhD Flopper, they teased it in the elevator shaft, and a lot of people were pissed off about that. When it comes to the original maps, I didn't really mind them all that much. Transit is still horrible. Nobody really likes Transit, but the separate maps weren't actually that bad in my opinion. Town and Farm were okay. I prefer Town a lot more. And then when the DLC came around, Die Rise, I loved it. Mob of the Dead is one of the best zombies maps ever. Buried was good, but it was a little bit too easy in my opinion. Even as someone who isn't the greatest zombies player or anything, I believe my highest round is like somewhere in the 40s. I wasn't a huge fan of Buried because I didn't like just sitting on top of the bank with that wonder weapon. I forgot the name of it, and just like sitting there for hours just mindlessly freezing zombies, and it's just so boring to me. But then Origins came out, and oh boy, that is probably my most played zombies map in Call of Duty history. I loved the challenge of it. There was something about Origins that just connected with me, and I loved it. And I know the community generally do like Origins. So when it comes to Black Ops 3, if I'm playing zombies, which is pretty much all I play on that game, usually you will see me on Origins because I feel the map has endless replayability. I feel like that map is just the perfect amount of complexity for your average player. For someone who just wants to survive and not really pay attention to Easter eggs and stuff, I felt Origins was the perfect middle ground of complexity and just wanting to survive. In my opinion, it's a perfect map. It's probably tied with Mob of the Dead for the best zombies maps of all time. But that's just my personal opinion. I know other people won't put Origins up there because of the mud, but I didn't really mind it because of stamina. But yeah, zombies on Black Ops 3 is pretty much all I play, but I generally stay away from the multiplayer. I can't remember the last time I played Black Ops 3 multiplayer because one, advanced movement, and two, the game is just a little bit too old at this point. I don't really want to touch it all that much. If I was able to unlock the weapons in the same way you can in Black Ops 4, then that would be a different story. However, you can't, so I don't really want to go back to it. I know I said that the advanced movement is there, but that's really not the deal breaker. In fact, you clicked on this video because of the question that I asserted in the title. Should jetpacks make a return in Call of Duty? This is an interesting question that I've been thinking about recently, and the reason I got inspiration for this video is because of some tweets that I saw from David Vonderhaar. On Twitter, I was scrolling, and Dexerto Intel posted a tweet saying, @David Vonderhaar confirms that there will be no jetpacks in Call of Duty 2020, rumored to be Black Ops 5. And replying to that tweet, we get David Vonderhaar himself saying, "Did I? I love tabloids." So it's a little bit cryptic, and we all know how David Vonderhaar is. He likes to fuck around with people. He likes to burst people's balls, and a lot of people were asking, you know, would jetpacks or just advanced movement in general, would that be something that we could reintroduce into the franchise and enjoy? Because when I think of advanced movement, I think of the dark days of Call of Duty. The worst Call of Duties ever, in my opinion, have come out of the advanced movement era. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare and Infinite Warfare, to this day, in my opinion, stand as two of the top 3 worst Call of Duties of all time. However, there is a black sheep in that conversation, and that is Black Ops 3, a game that had advanced movement, but was wildly successful and was actually a fantastic game. I loved the game during its life cycle, and it's strange because people thought that there was no way you could make a good Call of Duty with advanced movement. However, in my opinion, and in a lot of people's opinions, Black Ops 3 really perfected that movement, made it so that it was manageable, and it wasn't an essential part of the game. It was definitely in the game, and it had an impact, but it wasn't game-breaking. It wasn't like Advanced Warfare, where you literally could not play the game just boots on the ground. With Black Ops 3, that movement was almost optional. I say almost because there were parts of the map that you needed to use the advanced movement to actually traverse, but when it came to gunfights, it took a little bit of mastering of that movement to actually implement it into your gunfights. You had to have good accuracy, and especially if you were a sniper. Sniping with advanced movement was extremely difficult, but the game was wildly popular in terms of sniping as well. A lot of trick shotters really dig the game, and a lot of snipers did as well. I hit some of my best clips ever on Black Ops 3 because I really love the game, and it showed the community that it is actually possible to make a good Call of Duty with advanced movement. In my personal opinion, Call of Duty Black Ops 3 is in the top 5, if not maybe, just maybe, the top 3 Call of Duties ever made. When we factor everything, not just talking about multiplayer experiences, because I can think of at least 3 Call of Duties that have a better multiplayer experience than Black Ops 3. But when we take into consideration the fact that the game had free run, it also had zombies, which was actually really good in that game, and the multiplayer itself, I'm not going to talk too much about the campaign because we all know that Black Ops 3 has probably one of the worst, if not the worst campaign out of any Call of Duty ever. But I would say overall, it's either in the top 5 or the top 3. I thought Black Ops 3 was a very, very solid game, and a lot of people will agree with me on this. The game was a hit, and people really liked it, including myself. So it begs the question, is advanced movement something that could make a return in future Call of Duties? And even if that is an option, is that a good idea? I'm going to answer this question pretty quickly because I don't want this video to be too long, but in my personal opinion, I think advanced movement would be fine every once in a while. I think the problem with advanced movement is that we had it for too long. We had it for Advanced Warfare, and people didn't like it, and then we had it for Black Ops 3, and people were skeptical, including myself. I wasn't a fan at the beginning of the advanced movement, but eventually I realized that it's different to Advanced Warfare. It's a more refined system, and it works a lot better. And so people were like, okay, this is cool, but we don't want another advanced movement game. And then all of a sudden, Infinite Warfare came out, and we all know what happened to the trailer. Oh my god. One of the most disliked videos on YouTube. A lot of people were sick of advanced movement, even though it was very similar to Black Ops 3. We were just sick of it because we had it for so many times in a row. But in my personal opinion, I feel like if the games maybe brought back advanced movement every once in a while, it would work. Maybe once every 3 games, once every 4 games, have a Call of Duty game that is with advanced movement, and do it right as well. Don't introduce the Advanced Warfare advanced movement system because, in my opinion, that is the worst version of it. It's just way too chaotic, way too sporadic. But when we think of the Black Ops 3 movement system, I actually think it was done extremely well. It worked fantastically with the maps, and overall, the gameplay was just incredibly fun. So, in my opinion, I would like to see another advanced movement game, but don't oversaturate us with advanced movement games. One game every few years with advanced movement, and no more than that, because we don't want to have to deal with advanced movement every single year. I think Call of Duty should traditionally stay to boots on the ground, but I think advanced movement every once in a while would be a good idea, just to kind of spice things up a little bit, give us a little bit more variety every single year so that every game doesn't exactly feel the same. Now, granted, a lot of people are not going to share the same opinion as me. A lot of people just want to bury advanced movement and never see it in Call of Duty again, and that's fine. I totally understand that. A lot of people crucified David Vonderhaar for having advanced movement in Black Ops 3. The man even said it himself in some tweets that he has PTSD from the attacks. So I think overall it is down to the community and what they want. If the majority of the community want boots on the ground, that's fine. But if the community come around and say that advanced movement is fine every once in a while, then I wouldn't mind to see them take another swing at advanced movement in the same way they did with Black Ops 3. I think it could keep things interesting and reduce franchise fatigue just a little bit. But with that being said, I don't want to harp on this topic too much, so I'm gonna wrap this video up here. Let me know in the comments below what you guys thought about this topic, and with that being said, I'm gonna wrap it up. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much the end of the video. If you guys enjoyed, make sure you smack the like button. If you want to stay up to date on my content, please be sure to subscribe and ring the bell so that you're notified when my videos go up. I'll have my last video in the corner. If you haven't checked that out already, definitely make sure to check it out. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.